What it do, fun crew? 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 It's your girl Yo Yo from the Fun Crew. I don't have no Fun Crew members around me. I'm doing a little vlog on how I met my kids. Okay, y'all. First off, Yo Yo don't have. Well, I do, but first off, Yo Yo never had no kids. Period. I was much. I seen what. Why I haven't had no kids is because I seen a lot of people having kids at early ages, and I seen a lot of people having kids in broken homes. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by broken homes, the father's not in the picture. I didn't want that for me. Okay, that's just my opinion. I didn't want that for me. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? Even though I liked it being raised with my father and mother separate. That's strange, but I got more. When my daddy stayed in one house and my mama stayed in one, I got more out of. I just feel like I got more with them staying in the house. My mama was more stricter with if my daddy was in the house. Then when my daddy had his own house, it wasn't no rules. You know, it was much. I ain't had no really. My daddy was. I'm being me. I'm at the time. I'm the only girl. I ain't have to do nothing but live. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I liked it. I like having my parents separated, but I wouldn't want to come, you know, have kids and the father gone. You see so much, you know, people not living as a family. And I always had kids. You know what I'm saying? So with that, every time I even thought of having a kid, I'll be like, no, I'm good. Every time my sister would throw in a baby, every time I think about it, I'll be like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. But I used to always have my nieces and I had my nephew. But I think that they was my kids. I was that type of like, shoot, I'm young, you know, I gotta find a babysitter if I had babies. So my thing is, if I wanted babies, I'm gonna pick them up and we're gonna go and I'm gonna return them. That was my outlook on, you know, being a mom. Okay, hey, come over here. I love kids. I think I get it from my mom because she used to work at a center. It used to be called Wagos, and this Wago was so fun. And I wish that they had these type of, I mean, they might do, but I wish they had these type of things that my mom used to do at the center, like arts and crafts. And the kids wasn't like the kids now. Now it seems like all the kids want to do is fight, bully, you know, talk about, gossip, Facebook, be on social media. We knew how to be kids. Okay? We ain't do all that fighting and beefing and all that. But again, now it's more social media. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference from when we was kids. You know. But we had lots of stuff. Like we had double dutch. We had, like I used to learn how to play chess. My sister, she was in a, before the double dutch. I was too lazy. I didn't want to exercise. My mom used to work the hell out of them. When I say she used to work, she worked the hell out of them, making them run. My thing was, I want to be lazy, sit back. Okay, chess was my thing at the time. Comment if you a girl, because most girls don't play chess. But if you a girl and you ever played chess, comment below. But my thing is, but then my sister, she had kids at an early age. And with her having kids at an early age, we used to, you know, take my niece to school because they had a daycare in the school. We both went to Murray Wright. And we had a daycare in them. I ended up graduating before my sister. Um, so after I graduated from, I used to, pick up my niece and, what I'm saying, and, or keep my niece or whatever. And then eventually, my sister had a job. So I was the designated babysitter. Okay. Then eventually it became that I started doing, did I? No. Yeah. I babysitted my niece and them. Then I worked. And then I ended up getting hurt from where I work. I used to work at a pharmaceutical company with my mom's, and after that I got hurt. So they wanted to send me to a bull crapping job. So my thing was, So I created a job for myself. Because at the time my back was out, and my back ache and whatever. So I created a job, and I started babysitting. So I would take my nieces. At the time, it was two of them. I would take them to school, pick them up. Then I started seeing the need that a lot of people needed babysitters. Okay, so I would go get. So I made a job for myself. So I end up opening. Well, I end up doing daycare, and I used to have a lot of clients, y'all. I used to keep up to 12 kids at a time by myself. Um, then my sister ended up, she'll come help me. You know what I'm saying? She was my cook. And then when she got a job, then I was like, oh man, at the time I didn't know that you had to be a license to have license. So I went to school, WC3, and I ended up pursuing and got my license to be a licensed daycare provider. And that's what I did. I love kids. You know what I'm saying? So from that, I had a kid in my daycare. A situation happened, and so I ended up getting to foster care. Okay, so I was doing daycare and I was doing foster care. So when I say I love my job as a daycare provider, I love any kid that was in my care. I treated them like family. It was a family daycare, and when I say we was everywhere, we was everywhere. My kids, I took them out to eat. We went to the movies. We went to some of my family functions. We was always on the go. We was always constantly at a park. We was always. My parents did not have to worry about anything. You know what I'm saying? And Christmas, I celebrated Christmas. I celebrated Halloween. Whatever it was, I was a 24-hour daycare. Okay? So that's where I really grew my passion for kids, because I was like, oh, I love kids, so they get to come and go, and then once I'm done working, you know what I'm saying, I'm out of there, you know what I'm saying. But I had a 24-hour daycare, so some of my kids spent the night or whatever. I'm rarely closed. So eventually, when I got into foster care, I received my first child. Y'all. And my first child was my oldest. He's 18 now. But anyway, my oldest, oh my God. When I got him, I just thought you would swear that I had him, because he was my angel at the time. But didn't nobody tell me that there was a honeymoon period when you get other people kids. Oh my God, y'all. Whew. When I say, okay, let me tell y'all, any foster kids out there, comment that you're a foster kid and how was your experience as in your foster home. Just comment. Because I was like the greatest, to me, I was the greatest foster mom. I mean, I took my baby everywhere. When I say we went to his first thing we did, because I got him in January the 16th. I got him. And we went to the auto show. We had a blast. We went, actually, in fact, we went twice. He didn't went out of town with me. We did some of everything. Chucky. I used to just spoil. He was spoiled. But he was my first child, y'all. And it was crazy because he blended in with my family. He looked like he could be a twin of my brother. And I was like, oh my God, he looked just like my brother, my younger brother. But anyway, I had my first child. Then I ended up with actually, I babysitted my second child. I used to do daycare for my second child. Okay. And then my third child, I babysitted for. And then my fourth child, now all these are siblings. I didn't babysit, but I ended up getting him because it came to a point where my kids was all up for adoption, and all the parents pretty much was giving me, because they seen how I handled my oldest, which was no running apart. When I say you had to be patient, anybody who do foster care, let me tell you, you have to have you have to have patience, a lot of patience. You got to have a passion to do it, because I feel like at the time, and you got to have a support team. Those three things. You got to have patience, a support team, and you got to have a passion to do this. You can't just not be because kids come from all walks of life, and it's not beautiful. These kids, we want to go home, and they feel like that they can act up with you, and you'll send them somewhere else, or they act up in their mind. They feel like they can act up and they're going home, and that's not the case. They're just going to possibly a new home. You have to. And what I put in my heart with my first child is that I would never give up on him. Because if he was my own child, what would I do if he had the same behavior as this child? And it's a job. You're taking on other people's kids. My child, he used to hoard. And you would think it's stealing, but it's hoard. They used to hoard. And it could come from that they went without. That it wasn't enough, for any reasons. And then, when we used to do the training, I never really understand, why kids act the way they act. You know what I'm saying? You giving them a good home, but who wants to be away from their family? They're just like, when we went to this training, they was like, what if, you couldn't go you was told that you couldn't go nowhere. You have to stay here. What? Everybody in the face like, what? I ain't staying. But that's how foster kids feel. They get put in, I say, if we was in a room and they say you can't go home to your family. You got to go to this, you got to live over here with this family. How would you feel? And a lot of times we don't think about that. These kids are being taken from their family, who they known for how many years they've been living. That is the most hardest thing. So y'all got to think about that. We don't know where these kids come from. And for the foster kids that's of age, think about, we don't know y'all from a can of paint. We taking y'all in our homes, and we trying to give y'all the best. Well, some of us, majority of us, is trying to give y'all the best. And we understand that you want to be at home. Well, I did when I did foster care. My job was to get you home. If my job wasn't to, I knew that it wasn't it could be short term, it could be long term, it could be adoption. But my thing was to get you home. But so, my thing is, if you want to go home, you have to have good behavior. You can't just be going in people's houses and they give reporting all bad stuff. So if you out there and you are foster kids, type in team I'ma behave, because that's very important, especially if you want to go home, because that look bad when you sitting up there acting out. That's what they got counseling for. So we don't talk about your feelings or whatever, but behave yourself in any situation. Okay, so that's how I got my 4. I eventually ended up adopting. All my kids was in separate homes, but I eventually adopted all 4. It was a group of 6 in my first family. Okay, so group of 6. Now I'll end up with all the total. I have 8 kids. 4 is from I adopted, and I have 4 relatives. Their family is 7. I have 4 out of 7. Okay. My cousin. How I got those kids. My cousin was on Facebook. On Facebook. Talking. She was telling me, on Facebook, I need a break. Ooh, I need a break from my kids. Who? Me? Always want a baby. Always trying to get somebody baby, kid. I was like, hey, cuz, I'll give you a break. It's been 2009 to now. I'm still giving her a break. Okay? So, my original plan was to go get one baby. Give her one baby. But when I got there, she was staying with my cousin. And when I got there, I seen, which is Toon. She was little. When I say she was little, she looked like she was still a newborn. Man, she was so doggone little, but cute as ever. So I only got 1 car seat, mind you. I'm only going to pick up 1 baby, because she said she needed a break from the baby. When I get there and stuff, I'm getting Toon, which is the Kayla. I'm getting her dress. Kiana throwing on clothes. She didn't care what she was throwing on. She was throwing on a shirt. Then she was close to Toon age. She was just throwing on shirts. This had to be like, Toon was born in March. So this had to be closer to June. I think it was June, July, I believe. So I was like, okay, I'm giving my cousin a break. This baby, Kiana, she had real bad eczema. So my thing is, I didn't know what eczema was. I never heard of it. None of it. So I was like, oh my God, this little girl. She's cute, but what's wrong with her? So I end up taking both of them home. Now, my original plan is to take 1, but I end up taking both home. So I get them home and stuff. I get them washed up. And Kiana, she was from the age, I think she was, I don't know how old she was at the time, but she was a big eater. I thought she had a dude appetite. And Toon, she was so scared. Well, I was kind of scared because she had acid reflux, and I didn't know it at the time. So I would feed her, and she would throw it up from her eyes, her nose, her everything. So later on down the line, I kept them. And every time I go to return from that week break, Sabrina would she would act like her phone is not ringing, or she always had an excuse. So I would have to call my other cousin, and find out where she was at to drop her kids off. Okay, so I took them home. I think I took them home. So I made her make the doctor's appointment because I didn't know what was going on with them. So I ended up getting them back. So the Kayla, I would keep. Well, actually, both of them too. I kept them, for a while. By diapers, I would. And all I tell her, like, okay, look, all you gotta do, all you gotta do, is provide food for your kids. 2 kids. Now I'm buying diapers and I'm buying clothes. All you have to do is provide food. Okay? Food. So she ended up doing it for a while, but eventually she didn't wanna basically take care of her kids because she got so used to me doing everything, buying diapers, buying clothes. Her kids looked good. So when I went to go return her kids, she didn't want them. Especially Tune, because Tune got used to me and not her. So they really didn't have no bond. So when I take her around her, it was basically, I want to be around Yo-Yo. Kiana was one of them types. She'd go to anybody. You could take her back home. She fine. My thing is, I'm not taking care of nobody. I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor, and you can't. What? You can't provide food. Eventually, down the line, so Toon really stayed. I think I kept Kiana up until she was. I think she took Kiana mainly went back and forth. Toon only went back only when Sabrina wasn't acting right. And my thing is, I'm not gonna take care of your kids for nothing. Come on now. So, and it wasn't like I really was asking for something, but at the same token, you feel like you ain't got to do nothing. I'm not the father. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, uh, it broke my heart. I had gave Toon back. Kiana was already back, and she would text me. She wouldn't stop crying and whatever. It was just kind of. I just said forget it. I put my pride to the side and I went and got my baby. I went and got my baby. And ever since she been my baby. And I raised her from 3 months to a year. Okay. Kiana, I was raising her off and on. Because it's a point she didn't let me see Kiana. It's just a point that she didn't let me see Toon. But she let me get Toon back before she let Kiana come back. But like I said, then eventually we kind of got, no matter how, let me say, no matter how we fell out, we always find our way back. Like we was a couple. But so I eventually gave her, at the time she had 2 older kids, and that's Dakari and Kenya. They used to always be with their grandma. If they wanted their grandma, they used to always be out with her. So eventually I let Dakari and Dakari and Kenya, they spent the night a couple of times. Like I said, she would run at like her phone off or her phone was dead and I would have to get on the phone with Cuz and be like, hey, where she at? And drop her kids off. So I got tired. Eventually I got tired of, going through that junk with her. And then one day she called me and was like, and this is a time when they cut off FIA, period. They cut it off. They cold turkeyed it. So she called me and was like, can you take my kids? What? Heck, who in their right mind want 4 kids? Not I. That's what I said. No. Girl, is you crazy? So she called me back. And you know, Toon was already with, I think Toon was already with me. She was with me. So my thing was, okay, I will have to get guardianship over these kids. And see, and therefore, she asked me again. I was like, the only way I get them is if you give me guardianship. And that's how I just got all 4 of them. And that's how I became a mom. So it's a blessing that, and at the time, I would have probably had 5 because their brother, he was smaller. He was with the grandmother got him. So that's why. But it's a 7 of that group and then the 6 of my first group. But it's a blessing that my thing was, I had to think, because I didn't want no 4 kids, honestly. But I'm a foster care. I know what goes on, what people do. I wouldn't want how that look, me not taking in my own family and I'm doing it. I'm a foster mother. So my thing is, I wouldn't want them to be in the system. So I chose to keep them together. So, and my first 4, I chose to keep them together because if they would have got adopted, they would have been adopted separately. They wouldn't even known each other. But my object was keep everybody together. If I probably could have adopted the other siblings, I probably would have. But it wasn't in my hand. I was given all those kids. They seen how I did with my first one, which when I say it wasn't no walk in the park, it was difficult. It was times that I cried, he cried, like I said, but when you're doing foster care, you have to have a support system. And for you older kids who's out there, understand that we are trying to give you a place to stay and that we are not trying to harm you or whatever it is that you're going through, that we are trying to give you a loving home. And it's not our fault. We didn't bring you into care. You know what I'm saying? Half of the stuff we don't even know about you. We just, whatever they tell us about you. And my thing is, whatever I learned to never judge a book by its cover. Okay? For you parents, we don't know what's going on. Because we only know that what they tell us. And so half of that stuff is not accurate. You know? So my thing is, stop being bitter with the foster parent, okay? Stop being bitter. Learn to know them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be buddy, but see learn to know who taking care of your kids. Build a relationship. And you know what I'm saying? It can only be for just that time period, but build a relationship because you will want that parent, that foster mom or whomever, to want to be able to talk to you and tell you things about your kids or what's going on. You don't want them to be, you know what I'm saying? You want them to be able to talk to you, tell you what's going on with your kids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have to be on the same accord. Because if they see you fighting against the foster mom, it's going to be a lose situation. Both for you, the foster mama, and you should be on the same accord at every point. You know what I'm saying? That bickering, it's no need because we didn't choose to put your kids in the system. We didn't do it. We're just trying to help. So with that being said, if you're a mom and your kid is in foster care, comment below. Tell me your thoughts. But because matter of fact, I went to it was a trauma class. And they had parents and they had a parent and it was foster mom parents in there. And it was crazy because the parent always thought that the foster mom was against them. And when we got into that group, we just found out like we didn't have nothing against each other. It's just their assumption of what we know about them. And a lot of times is we don't know jack, only what they tell us. And sometimes they don't tell us much. And if you are a foster mom, go to the court. Any court dates, go to find out for yourself. Because sometimes it don't be all with it. Because if a foster, sometimes the worker, if they don't like you, they put anything in them records. You need to go and find out for yourself. Sit in the courtrooms if you can and see what's going on with your child that you got in your home. Because a lot of times you will find out something totally different. I advise you to do that. But any foster kids on here, stop giving foster parents like us, or I'm a former one, so foster parents a hard time. My son had to grow out of it. He gave me a hard time, but he graduated, he got a job, and I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm about to end this vlog. Right now, I got 7 of the fun crew. Well, it's not 7. It's actually, I have 7 kids that live with me. My oldest, he moved out. He moved out and he stays with his biological mom. You know, it works for him. So, it's my nephew. It's my niece. I got another niece. She's 3. I mean, no, she's 1. She'll be 2. You might see her on my page. And I have 2 godsons. So I usually have 1 all the time. So you might see him. That's Pooter. So it's I'm gonna tell you the kids, and then you will start seeing their faces. It's Janaya. We call her Diamond. It's Jay Sean, Chris. It's Jason, Jonathan, Dakari. It's Kenya. We call her sometimes Kenya Benya. It's Kiana. Sometimes we call her Poon. We call her Key. She like to be called Keys. Sometimes she like to be called Kiki. It's Dakayla. Call her Toon. Brandon. Bear. Skylar. Sky. And baby Jessica. So what I want you all to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And if you, like I said, comment like if you're a foster parent. Comment if you was a biological mama who had the kids in the system. I understand both sides, okay? I dealt with family. I dealt with, foster kids. But I love them all. And I'm going to treat them like they're mine, okay? But I'm out. And I see you all. Peace.